Hey, I'm Geeky Pastimes, and in this video I just wanted to do a quick review of the Halo Infinite flight. This has been the first flight, hopefully of many. Hopefully we're going to see a lot more. And a quick disclaimer at the beginning, I didn't get a chance to play the PvP section. That went live at 4 in the morning UK time. I was asleep, and then by the time I woke up it was all over because it only lasted for 2 hours. So I've only done the weapon drills and played against bots. So what I'm going to do in this quick review is talk a little bit about the kind of basic gameplay of it, sort of pure gameplay mechanics of it. Then I'll talk a little bit about the maps, and I'll talk a little bit about the guns, and then a couple of other things at the end. There's not really any point talking about performance or the way it looks or anything like that there. I did think it looked great, and it performed okay, I guess, but there was a lot of stuttering and they said they haven't optimized it, so I'm hoping that'll be something we can see more of as it goes on. So first of all, the basic gameplay. This has been probably the best thing about it so far, and it's something that I've seen loads of people talking about, loads of people agreeing with, is that this game is just a huge amount of fun to play. I've put in, I think, about 11-12 hours into the beta, into the flight. Sorry, I keep calling it a beta, it's a flight. I've put a lot of time into it, and I haven't been doing it for progression or anything like that. I finished the battle pass on like the first day, just by spending the points they gave us and stuff like that. I wasn't doing it for progression, wasn't doing it to unlock stuff, to grind or anything like that. I wasn't even playing for content. A lot of the time I was completely offline. I wasn't recording or streaming or anything. I was just playing it because it was so much fun to play. And it's really nice to have a first-person shooter game where I'm playing it just because it's a lot of fun. Even like playing by myself. I was even playing it when like my friends and stuff weren't online. Games like Warzone, I do enjoy the gameplay, but I tend to have it as a bit more of a social thing. I tend to play with other people, like with my friends. Halo I was just playing because I enjoyed it so much. And there's loads of different things feed into that, like there's a lot of kind of skill involved in the way you use the weapons and stuff like that. Obviously, we were just playing against bots, so you didn't have the competitive nature, but it's very satisfying to get kills in it. It's very satisfying to pull something off, you know, a perfectly charged plasma pistol shot and then a headshot of the pistol, or the battle rifle, sort of managing to get a perfect on it and getting every single shot into their head is really, really good. Getting kills with the sniper or the skewer, getting a good grenade throw. There's just so much stuff that's really satisfying in the game, and I really like that. I also really like the movement. I like the stuff they've changed about the movement. So obviously the newer Halo games have had sprint, and I think they've got that right in this one. Like the sprint isn't super powerful, it's not super fast, and it also doesn't mess you up too much like it does in Call of Duty. The jumps are good, like you don't have jetpacks or anything like that, but the jumps are kind of just the right amount of floatiness, and that works really well. The mantling seems really quick. Like all of that kind of stuff just seems to be just right. Like it feels really polished in terms of gameplay, and I really like that. So the next thing I want to talk about was the maps. Now we've got to play on 3 maps on this, and we've got to play on Recharge, Live Fire and Bazaar. I personally liked all of them. I think they're all quite different, which is really good. You know, Recharge had tons of verticality, which was really interesting. Loads of walkways and stuff crossing over each other. Loads of opportunity to do interesting jumps and to get behind people in interesting ways. And obviously you had a grappling hook in that. Live Fire was really cool. Like it was kind of a much more almost like normal map, where it's like big and blocky. It very clearly had like different areas with different types of fighting possible. You could go down the tunnels for close combat or into the house, or you could go out to the big areas at either side, and then there's even a sniper tower where you could look out over the areas and get some good shots off there. I thought that was really cool, and it looked really nice as well, you know, it being sort of so bright and airy. I thought that was really cool. And then Bazaar's the one that I've seen that seems to be the most controversial for people. It does feel a little bit more like it looks a bit more like a Call of Duty map, but it doesn't feel like one very much. I really like how big it is and how you have kind of different kinds of fights rolling across the map. So obviously there's loads of fights happening around the market, and you've got people shooting from balconies and jumping down. The rocket launcher's obviously incredibly powerful there, but then you've also got fights around the edge of the map where people are getting chased through corridors, chased into different rooms, and it feels a bit more like a real place than the others do. You know, you go through a cafe, you go through a library, you go through sort of like lots of different places that feel a bit more lived in. And obviously that one ties into the story of Halo a little bit more because it's in Mombasa. It's a place where, you know, we visited in Halo 2, we were fighting in, so it's a bit of a callback through that, and you know, it's on Earth. So that makes it a little bit more interesting. But yeah, all of the maps seemed really good, and there's nothing that I noticed in them that I would want to change. There was nothing where I thought, oh, that wasn't very good. There is a sort of, like kind of more classic Halo maps, I guess, a lack of interactive things. So, you don't have doors or anything like that opening and shutting. You don't have anything like, the train from, what was that, Terminal? Was that the one with the train rolling through? It seemed very much like a kind of classic Halo style map, where it was all about the geometry and having interesting lines of sight and interesting ways to escape or to get around behind people, walkways on top of each other. I thought that was really interesting. Loads of verticality, which is quite refreshing after playing so much Call of Duty over the last 2 years. Now, in terms of the guns, I thought the guns were all fun to use. There's definitely some stronger and weaker guns. There's kind of a meta already where the battle rifle and a pistol seem so much more powerful than anything else. And then you have things like, the power weapons are fun to use and very different and very unusual. Like the sniper rifle was incredibly powerful one-shot things. The skewer, obviously powerful, but super hard to use. I think the skewer's designed more against vehicles. The Ravager's interesting with its kind of area of effect denial. You can kind of block a doorway by throwing the fire down, stuff like that. I found a lot of the power weapons quite difficult to use. I found it difficult to get kills, whereas like the pistol and battle rifle, you can fairly easily dominate all of the bots there. It'll be interesting to see how they work against other players. Most of the other guns were fun to use and fun in the right situation, but it definitely felt like you were handicapping yourself a little bit by using them. The gravity hammer, it's quite hard to get a one-hit kill. You have to get super close to someone and you feel quite slow when you've got it. So like it being 2 hits makes it quite difficult to use, but it is super fun jumping down and smashing it on the floor. Like that's really cool. The plasma carbine is really good if you get someone from a long way away and they're standing perfectly still. You can kill them in 2 bursts, like right to the head, which is really, really cool. But when people are running around in a normal fight, generally it's really hard to hit people. The Needler, I think, needs a bit of work maybe. Like the Needler, the sound doesn't seem as satisfying as it used to. But it is still, that crazy powerhouse of a weapon. If you're quite close to someone, you can just delete them so fast. And the fact that you have to like think about the homing effect of the needles is kind of interesting. The assault rifle's really, really good, and just as it ever is, you can sort of spray and pray up close, and it's quite powerful. It feels a bit stronger than it has in some of the other games in multiplayer, to me at least. But it's not that great from a range, which is fine. I really don't like the Commando. Like the Commando and the shotgun, the Bulldog, are the 2 guns that I really sort of almost avoided picking up. The Commando just feels like a much worse version of the pistol. It feels much harder to use when you zoom in. It zooms in too far, I think. And it doesn't do any more damage than the pistol as far as I can tell. It still takes like 5 shots to kill someone, which isn't great. And the Bulldog as a shotgun, even if you're really, really close to someone, it feels like it doesn't do enough damage. Again, you can probably kill someone with a pistol quicker than you can kill someone with the shotgun, which doesn't feel quite right. Like I feel like it just needs to be a tiny bit more powerful, or maybe the range that it's very powerful at needs to be brought out a little bit further. The Heatwave was a really cool one. I didn't know much about that at all before this flight went on. And that's very cool, where you can sort of switch whether it's horizontal or vertical, and when you kill someone it has that like unique effect that they kind of disappear. And I really like that with the different Halo guns having different effects when you kill someone. So the heat wave like evaporates them, the needlers makes them explode, the skewer, you get the big skewer stuck in people. I hope we see a bit more of that and a bit more sort of character to the weapons as it goes on. That would be really, really cool. But overall, I think this flight was a massive success. Like, the bots weren't very difficult, so I literally didn't lose a match across this whole thing. Even against the Spartan bots, I managed to get a perfection medal for getting like over 15 kills with no deaths. They maybe could have thrown in some more challenging bots. That would have been quite interesting. And obviously there's tons of stuff we haven't seen. Like, we've only seen the small maps. We still haven't seen a load of weapons like the energy sword. We still haven't seen, anything to do with like vehicles or anything like that, or different modes like capture the flag or team SWAT or anything like that. And obviously, then there's other stuff like Forge, which we want to see. And is there going to be a co-op mode? Is there going to be a firefight type thing? There's loads of stuff we haven't seen yet. But what we did see sort of really showed off the core gameplay, the core gunplay and movement. And I think all of that was incredibly good. So I'm super excited for the game, and I'm super excited for more flights. I'm kind of expecting them to announce another flight in the next couple of weeks. Because they've got so many other things to test, and it'll be really interesting when they move up to big team battle to see how this plays against other people and against, on on the much bigger maps. So it'll be really interesting to see how well the gunplay and the movement holds up when you've got massive maps to play on. Anyway, if you want to see more content about Halo, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what are you excited about. What did you think about Halo Infinite? Did you like the flight? If you weren't in the flight, what did you think it looked like? Was it a fun thing to watch streams of? Was it a fun thing to watch videos of? And obviously, if you want to see more Halo content, I've put up a load of videos over the last few days all about Halo. So there's different things about like a glitch I found where I could watch everything in third person. I did a thing about some of the secrets and Easter eggs that we found so far. So check those out on my channel if you want to see more Halo content. Thanks very much for watching, and goodbye.